Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the West Basin Engineering and Operations Committee and a special meeting of the Board of Directors. And with that, can we have a determination of a quorum, Mr. General Manager?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Director Tommy Favai. Here. Chairman Desi Alvarez.
Here.
Director Gloria Gray. Director Don Deere. Here. Director Scott Houston. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next item up is public comment. Do we have any?
Mr. Chairman, we have not received any requests prior to this meeting, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there's any member of the public who would like to address the board under public comment, please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. And Mr. Chairman, I do not see any requests.
All right, and then the next item up is presentations, and we do not have any, do we?
Yeah, there's no presentations
Join.
today.
Dr. Gray is joining.
Oh, welcome, Director Gray. We're just getting started.
Thank you. Thank you.
So our first item up is 5A, which is an agreement award for the Torrance Refinery Water Recycling Plant Nitrified Motor Control Center replacement.
Yes, Mr.
General
Chairman.
Manager, please introduce that item.
Yes, for this presentation, we do have Jason Kung, our operations analyst 2. And this item begins on page.
Thanks, CJ. Good afternoon, directors. The Torrance Refinery Water Recycling Plant relies on two motor control centers, MCC1 and MCC2. Applying power to nitrification equipment, including blowers, backwash pumps, and product pumps. You recall in 2021, MCC1 and the upstream switchboard experienced a concurrent electrical failure that rendered the unit out of service and disrupted nitrified delivery, requiring immediate replacement. Following that event, staff identified the replacement of MCC2 as the second phase of planned electrical reliability improvements for the process area 93. The existing MCC2 still operates with obsolete motor overload protection that has minimal spare part availability and presents a significant risk of failure. Failure of MCC2 could impact critical blowers and pumps and reduce nitrification production capacity supplying the refinery. And in addition, replacement electrical equipment currently has lead times of up to 27 weeks, making proactive replacement important to avoid extended operational effects. Project includes demolition and replacement of the existing MCC, along with temporary utilities to maintain refinery operations during construction. The work will conclude with full commissioning and testing of the new project. The district issued a competitive request for bids in March 2026. The RFP notified over 10,000 users, with 53 vendors downloading the bid package and 10 vendors attending the mandatory on-site job walk. 5 responsive bids were received, and Baker Electric and Renewables LLC submitted the lowest responsible and responsive bid at approximately $279,000, which was below the engineer's estimate of $543,000. Staff reviewed the bid and determined the pricing to be reasonable based on current market conditions and competitive contractor pricing. As part of the review process, staff contacted all 3 project references provided by Baker Electric and Renewables for comparable switchgear replacement projects completed in SoCal. The contract amounts for the 3 projects range from approximately $125,000 to $1.8 million, and they were all completed between 1 to 60% under budget. Furthermore, all 3 references provided positive feedback regarding project performance related to quality of work, safety, and most importantly, each indicated they would work with Baker again or have already contracted with Baker again. The project is included in the proposed CIP budget for the upcoming fiscal year and funded through refinery fixed payments. With that, I'll read the recommendation and answer any questions after. Staff recommends that the board authorize the general manager to enter into agreement with Baker Electric and Renewables LLC for the replacement of 93 MCC2 for $279,314 plus a 15% contingency of $41,897 for a total not to exceed amount of $321,211.
Okay, thank you very much. Director Survey, you have any questions?
No questions, pretty straightforward.
Director Gray, do you have any questions?
No, thank you. Thank you.
Two questions or comments. On the financing, so 100% of this is being paid for by Torrance Refinery?
That's correct.
Right. And then, interesting, I haven't seen one of these in a while. So the engineer's estimate was 543,000. And the second low bid to the high bid ranged from 441,000 to 795,000. But the low bid is 279,000, which is almost 50% less than the engineer's estimate. Do you guys have any guess as to why they're so low?
Thinking that, based on the research that staff did, they understand the scope correctly. They have great feedback from their previous customers. Perhaps the pricing has changed between materials during that time when it was originally priced, but we think it's a responsible and responsive bid.
The big gap,
Big gap.
the very big gap. All right, we'll move this item forward. Okay. Next up, we have 5B. Award professional services agreement of the Torrance Refinery Water Recycling Plant microfiltration feasibility study.
Mr. Chairman. Yes, for this presentation, we do have Orlando Rodriguez, our engineering supervisor, and this item begins on packet page 9.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, Chairman Alvarez and members of the committee. First off, I'd like to start off with some background information. As you may be aware, the Torrance Refinery Water Recycling Plant currently receives Title 22 water off of the recycled water distribution system from ECL to produce nitrified water for cooling towers for the refinery, as well as low pressure boiler feed water that is treated through MF and RO membranes. The MF membranes consist of MEMCOR 90M10 units, and these were installed back in 1999 when the plant was originally operational. The MEMCOR units are pressurized MF systems built around polypropylene modules and consist of 6 rack units with an original design capacity of about 604 GPM each. In the last few years, the MF equipment has experienced mechanical and material degradation and failures, resulting in the inability to meet the refinery product water demand. The original MF system was designed based on historical feed water quality conditions, which now contains higher concentrations of ammonia and total dissolved solids. As a result, the system's overall throughput has been significantly reduced, contributing to the need for a potable water supplement to meet the refinery demands. Additionally, the existing MF system is an obsolete proprietary technology and cannot readily accept alternative membrane technologies. For example, the polypropylene membranes are not tolerant to exposure to oxidants, which limits the use of conventional clean-in-place methods, such as free chlorine solutions that are commonly compatible with the newer PVDF membranes. Due to these limitations, West Basin and the refinery decided to conduct a feasibility study to evaluate long-term solutions for the existing MF system. The study will consider the long-term direction of the region's water projects and the need to restore lost treatment capacity to reliably serve the refinery. The study will evaluate alternatives for rehabilitation or replacement of the existing MF system based on the refinery demands, water quality goals, life cycle costs, and operation and maintenance requirements. On February 2nd of this year, staff issued a formal solicitation for professional services through the OpenGov procurement online system to perform the feasibility study. On February 17th, 2026, staff held a pre-proposal meeting through Microsoft Teams, which was attended by 6 consulting firms. An on-site job walk was held the same day at the plant and was attended by 3 consulting firms. On February 25th, Staff received a total of 3 proposals via the OpenGov platform. Based on an internal evaluation, Hazen and Sawyer received the highest total score and presented the best value to them. The results of the solicitation are presented in Table 1, which is on page 10 of the agenda packet. Additionally, you could see the solicitation overview on page 13 of the agenda packet as attachment A. With that, I would like to read the recommendation that the board authorize the general manager to enter into an agreement with Hazen and Sawyer for professional services on the Torrance Refinery Water Recycling Plant Microfiltration Feasibility Study in the amount of $268,545 plus a 10% contingency for a total not to exceed contract amount of $295,100. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Director Tabay, you have any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Dale?
No questions.
Director Gray?
No questions. Thank you.
You had mentioned in your presentation that part of the study is going to look at potential integration long-term with the pure water. Can you say what the intent is there? What that integration would encompass?
Well, instead of looking at some of the alternatives that we asked Hayes or the consultant to look at is a full replacement, but it's not just a full replacement, maybe some interim work that we don't have to replace the whole MF system. Something a lot less expensive that would at least carry us over to when these programs are in place and then the MF system is not as needed. So either look at full-blown replacements or just very limited that'll carry us through that.
Okay, thank you. With that, if there's no objections, we'll move that forward. So we're moving on to item 5C, which is authorization to procure reverse osmosis membranes for the Juanita Melinda McDonald Regional Water Recycling Plant. That was a mouthful. Mr. Dillon.
Yes, for the presentation, we have Mario Batista, our engineering supervisor, and this item begins on packet page 15.
Thank you. Good afternoon, directors. So as noted, this item is for the procurement membranes at our Carson facility. These are remaining 2 RO trains. So you may recall in March of 2026, we went out for the procurement of the first 2 of the 4 RO trains that we have at our Carson facility. These 4 trains provide low pressure boiler feed to the Marathon refinery that's owned by the Tesoro Refining and Marketing Company. And like all membranes, over time, their performance degrades due to fouling and the repetitive cleaning that's required. Past a certain point, we see declining both performance and effluent water quality that requires replacement. So we did see that starting in February of this year, which initiated that first membrane procurement. I did want to note that in addition, or just additional bit of context, that we entered into an updated agreement with the Tesoro Refining and Marketing Company in October 2025, and that included more stringent water quality requirements. So that necessarily is going to require more frequent membrane replacements. Those more frequent membrane replacements were considered when we were developing the fixed fee in that updated agreement. So those additional costs are already being captured in those payments. So in terms of the March solicitation, again, we went out for just 2 trains worth of RO membranes, went out to our pre-qualified vendors. We received 2 quotations that are summarized in table 1 of the staff report. And just a couple of highlights there. LG Water Solutions provided a quotation. They received a 3% discount due to being local. Torre Membrane received a 14.75% discount associated with their delivery time. They committed to delivering their membranes 1 day after the execution of a purchase order compared to 60 days, which is particularly important given how critical these membranes are to adhering to our contractual requirements. So as a result of that discount, the lowest evaluative price was Torrey membranes, and we went ahead and procured 2 trains worth of membranes from Torrey. So just getting to what may be a question that you might have is, why didn't we procure all 4 right out of the gate back in March? And there's really 2 reasons for that. So the first is we go through a stringent pre-qualification process for all our membranes. However, that pre-qualification process happens at specialized pressure vessels that are at the ECL plant, which is a slightly different water, is a substantially different water quality than we see at Carson. The second is that these membranes hadn't ever been used at the Carson facility. So this would really be the first time. So it was a bit of a hedge in case we saw any unexpected performance. Now, it was relatively low risk, again, because of that stringent testing, but because we had no direct data outside of that testing to utilize, it was prudent to just put in 2. The other and probably more substantial reason is that there was an opportunity to potentially save some costs. Not understanding what the effluent water quality might be coming out of these new membranes, if we were able to blend water quality from these trains that had new membranes with the water quality from the trains that had older membranes, and we're still able to meet our contractual requirements, we could extend out that useful life and glean some additional savings. However, after about a month of operations, 2 things became evident. 1, that the Torrey membrane does work well at that facility, and 2, that we need to replace the remaining 2 trains worth of RO membranes. Fortunately, we noted that we were still within the 90-day bid validity window pricing that was offered. And when we reached out to Torrey, they noted that 1, they would both honor the pricing as well as the delivery timeline, which again is very critical in terms of maintaining our contractual water quality requirements. So that's why we're recommending a single source procurement using the previous competitive solicitation to procure the remaining 2 membranes. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and read the recommendation and be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Recommendation is 1, that the board approves a single source procurement pursuant to Administrative Code Section 5-1.107, single source procurement over threshold, and waives the otherwise applicable competitive solicitation requirements based on a determination that a new competitive solicitation is not in the best interest of the district. And 2, that the board authorize the general manager to procure 852 reverse osmosis membranes and the associated parts from Torrey Membrane USA, Inc. for a total not to exceed amount of $360,378 plus tax and shipping.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just add to that, I really do want to compliment our engineer operations team for that first initial effort in March to make this work, try to reduce our costs and extend the life of these membranes. To me, I think that that was the right call, and I think that the data that you see here within the memo is in line with our approach to all of these action items and recommendations, is to try our best to reduce our costs on the district and still meet the needs of our customer. And I think that that was done in this case. So I definitely want to say thank you to our team.
Thank you very much. And thank you for, so, Director Paul, any question?
No question. Just want to comment through EJ to the staff that thank you for bringing that up on the cost and stuff, and then working with the vendor, to bring to help us with the cost and stuff like that. So, and then thank you for being very detailed, because it makes it our job a lot easier when it comes to the board of directors to make a sound decision on moving forward. But I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Gray.
I just want to ditto what Director Pavard said about staff. They're always great in what they do. Just my thank you also.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just also, one thing you did mention is that the selected vendor is not 100%, but closest we're gonna get made in America. So,
That's right, just in Oceanside.
so thank you. With that, we'll move this forward. Which brings us to our last item.
Or second to
No,
last.
second to the last item. 5D. Board construction contract for the Title 22 filter 1, 5, and 10 rehabilitation and replacement. project. So, Mr. General Manager, please introduce that. And I think this is the last of the filter rehab projects, right?
No.
One more.
Possibly one.
And for the presentation, we do have Orlando Rodriguez, our engineering supervisor.
Orlando, take it away.
Good afternoon again, committee. Just as you may recall, this project is part of a larger overall R&R program that the board approved back in January of 2024 for the Title 22 filters. And at the time, staff presented those three alternatives. And ultimately, the board approved alternative number 3, which was to rehabilitate 3 filters per fiscal year. So following that approval, we did undertake a phase 1 essentially of the project, which was the Title 22 filters 3, 4, and 6 R&R project, which not only included the under drain lateral replacements themselves, but as you may recall, we did crack repairs to the north walls of filters 7 and 8. So that project was completed May of last year. And again, it was on budget with no change order. So that was successful. And following that, we're now here with essentially phase 2. So phase 2 is the rehabilitation of filters 1, 5, and 10. And the scope is identical without the crack repairs to those north walls. So we'll be replacing the under drain laterals, some media, some resurfacing of the troughs that are inside, as well as some crack repairs that's necessary on the filter basin walls on the interior. So following the completion of the construction bid package, a solicitation for construction services was issued again via OpenGov on April 13th of this year. A pre-bid meeting was held on April 28th via Microsoft Teams, followed by an on-site job walk that same day. 7 company representatives attended the pre-bid meeting, and 9 company representatives attended the on-site job walk. On May 12th of this year, 4 bids were received, and you could receive the results of that bid on table 1, which is on page 23 of the agenda packet. And you could also see a solicitation overview on page 27th of the agenda packet for more information. The bid submitted by Tharsos Incorporated in the amount of $1,642,142 was found to be the lowest responsible and responsive bid. Previously, Tharsos did complete the phase 1 construction services, and that project was completed for a total construction cost of about $1,742,240. So additionally, staff intend to use the on-call construction management services to procure construction management services through that agreement. So with that being said, there is also a preliminary construction schedule on page 24 of the agenda packet. So due to the long lead times of these under drain laterals, we anticipate starting construction around November, December timeframe of this year. So with that, I'd like to read the recommendation that the board authorize the general manager to enter into an agreement with Tharsos Inc. for construction services on the Title 22 filters 1, 5, and 10 rehabilitation and replacement project in the amount of $1,642,142 plus a 20% contingency for a total not to exceed contract amount of $1,970,571. And with that, I would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Director Pavane,
No questions.
Director Diaz,
No questions.
Director Gray.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, so looks like Tharsos did the previous renovation and they actually lowered their price.
Yeah, I spoke to them and I think they were able to streamline some of their work and scope based on the phase 1. So yeah, a little bit.
We're saving money.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And with that, we will move that item forward. And now we will go to item 5E. It's the last item, and that's the on-call construction management services award. Mr. General Manager, please go ahead and introduce that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and we are cooking through this packet. No pressure. So for the presentation, we have Veronica Gobea, engineering supervisor, back at page 29. And I would just preface this by saying that, again, I'm extremely proud of the outreach that West Basin has been doing. And I hope this item shows the fruits of that effort from our engineering and operations team as well as our procurement team. So go ahead and take it away, Veronica.
Thank you, EJ. Good afternoon, Chairman Alvarez, board members. This package, it starts on page 29. And the purpose of this item is to provide the recommendation for contract award for the on-call construction management services. West Basin uses its on-call construction management consultants to support its projects, including new infrastructure, customer development, and rehabilitation and replacement projects. On-call consultants are pre-qualified professionals that facilitate the ability to execute projects timely while still maintaining competitiveness for best value. On-call consultants are selected through a thorough review of proposals for which the solicitation request is publicly advertised. Once the pool of qualified consultants are selected and contracts are completed, when there is a project to be performed, the staff prepares a scope of work that is distributed among all the consultants that were selected, and then we evaluate the proposals to make sure that we evaluate based on the base value that we, obtaining from them. The scope of services includes several items, including project management, safety management, contract administration, document control, change management, inspection services, quality assurance, quality control, schedule management, material testing, labor compliance, constructability reviews, and cost estimating. Following the approach presented in December 2025 to select 5 companies for a pool of $3 million and 3-year term with task orders limits of $350,000. West Basin prepared the solicitation for the new on-call services construction management. The request for proposal was issued on March 16, 2026, and there was a non-mandatory meeting on March 23, 2026. The proposals were submitted on April 14, 2026. The request for proposal was advertised in OpenGovs, LinkedIn, Public Purchases, Become Bid, and in our website. Altogether, there was 9,000 companies that were reached and 700 views. Along other meetings that we have attended to recent projects, we have been able to also mention to consultants that were attending those conferences that this upcoming request for proposal will come in. On the midsection of attachment A, which is on page 33, you can view a summary of the platforms that were utilized as well as the reach. West Basin received 8 proposals that were reviewed by staff. 4 of the proposals were from new companies and 4 from eco companies. Proposals were evaluated on completeness, quality, qualifications, capabilities and experience, key personnel, qualifications, technical approach, methodology and understanding, and fee schedule. The total value of that portion of the review was 85. In addition to this, West Basin promotes small businesses and local businesses. So for a prime to be a local business, they can obtain up to 3 points. If it's a small business, 3 points, and they get 1 more point if their sub-consultant are also one of those. Table 1 provides a summary of the vendors that submitted proposals, and out of all these companies, we selected 6 companies for interview. The interview was assisted by an external panelist from the Water Replenishment District. During the interview, we got the opportunity to meet with the staff that will be working and be responsible for the delivery of the projects. The interview gives us the opportunities to hear directly from them, their assessment and approaches. As part of the review process, we also checked the references to make sure that everybody was in compliance or in agreement with what they were stating. An evaluation summary has been included under attachment B. Please note that attachment B, like the header, says attachment A, but that's on page 34, there should be a B. And under this attachment, you can see the results, the points, as well as the results from the interview and the small and local business. Attachment C is on page 35 and provides an overview of the consultant diversity and inclusion breakdown. On that attachment, you can see that 4 of the prime consultants, which are here, AKM, Mars, and CNK, are small business certified. Mars is a local business enterprise, and GFT, which didn't include their local offices, just for notification, they have offices here in the local area in Long Beach, Santana, Long Beach, Los Angeles, and other places. However, because they didn't include that on the proposal, they were not able to, to get points. The subs to the primes also have additional certifications. Subs from Luthier, Mars, and GFT have small businesses and micro business certification. The recommended consultants demonstrated to be responsive. They were able to demonstrate knowledge, experience, ability, and capability to respond to project task requests. Following this, I will read the recommendation. The recommendation is that the board, 1, appropriate a $3 million budget for OnCall construction management services to be shared among the OnCall consultants. And 2, authorize the general manager to enter into a 3-year duration contract as part of the professional and OnCall construction management services with Luthier Engineering Inc., AKM Consulting Engineers, Mars Services Inc., GFT Infrastructures Inc., and CNK Consulting Inc. With this, I will open for any questions.
Thank you very much. Director Flavia, go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say, Victoria, thank you for giving the breakdown and then also, included in there, all the different certifications. Because, we're not going to know about these contractors, if they're disadvantaged or disabled veteran or small business, local business. So I like how you included that in the categories to show to the contractors that we're looking out for this, right? And they're providing those type of certifications to the West Basin staff. So thank you for doing that. My next thing is, how many of the vendors were actually interviewed out of all of them?
6.
6 out of
The 8.
8. Okay. That's it. Chair, go.
Thank you.
No questions.
Director Gray, do you have any questions?
No, thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Couple of questions for you. So these are on-call 3-year contract. Is there a maximum amount on any one when you issue a contract under the on-call basis? Is there going to be a maximum amount, or the amount is subject to the $3 million that's being budgeted?
So let me see if I understand the question. You're saying that if the $3 million is the limit for the on-call services? Or the task order is 350,000.
That order is 350,000?
Yes.
All right. Second question. I don't remember that we've done this at all. I'm trying to remember appropriating funds in advance. Why are we really going to be setting these funds aside as opposed to at the time of award of a project? Construction management for appropriating the funds there.
In past board memos, we had mentioned, that we are, selecting a pool or reserving a pool of 3 million. Is not the funds for each project to come up from the capital improvement projects. So when we are planning for their development and execution, we are getting those funds to go towards the on-call construction management. The 3 million is basically the limit for the rolling of the program under on-call services.
Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, prior to the board meeting, I could double check how we've done this in the past. My understanding is what we've done is we've designated or identified what that pool would be for the on-call firms to compete and actually entice them to apply to or respond to the RFPs. So it kind of helps to identify how much money we're talking about as far as what they'd be eligible for.
Kelly, what we're doing is saying that under this on-call contract, we will award up to $3 million. But we may award less, we may award more, but we won't award more than 3 million. At the time that they start bumping to 3 million, you come back and issue new on-call.
Correct. We would not use our on-call for anything beyond that $3 million. If we needed to do that in the course of this 3-year agreement, we would actually come back to the board and adjust.
But the actual funds are gonna be appropriated at the time you
They're done each year on
award
a,
it to a particular construction project, whatever that may be.
correct.
So technically, we're not appropriating $3 million. We're designating that this on-call services program, we call it the 2026 on-call services program, has $3 million. And once that $3 million is reached, we will come out and issue a new on-call services contract.
Or dedicate more money to the on-call
Or
program,
we'll come back-
because this is a 3-year, these are 3-year
Right.
agreements.
We're not appropriating any money. If you appropriate money, you're setting it aside. You're not setting aside the money right now.
Let me clarify that with our CFO prior to the board meeting. What I would tell you is for the firms that have responded to the RFP, knowing that there's $3 million within that pool, is yes. Yeah. You're not budgeting for it at this time. Correct.
Except some kind of, the reason I'm bringing it up, I brought up the issue that we should have funds, designated funds, reserve funds for things other than general reserves or bond reserves. And so if we're gonna reserve money for on-call services associated to that, then you're setting that money aside. As opposed to, all we're doing is saying that under this program, we'll award $3 million. And if we go over that, we'll either come back to the board and ask for authorization, or we'll issue a new one.
That is correct. And so let me clarify the appropriate language with the CFO. But you're correct in the concept, yes.
Do that for the board meeting, but it's a technicality, but it is kind of important. The other item I do want to point out is we repeatedly use the same firms over and over and over again, and it's hard to break in if you're a new firm. And I'm a big believer in giving people an opportunity to break in. So kudos to the 2 new firms that have never done previously work for the West Basin. Let's see how it comes out. It doesn't guarantee they're going to get any work. It just means that they're on the inside as opposed to the outside. They still have to do a little bit of effort. But I would encourage the staff that in looking at firms, we tend to evaluate people based on the knowledge that we have. So if we've worked with somebody and they've done a good job, we're going to give them high grades or higher evaluation potential than firms that we have not worked with and we're not as aware of their capabilities. And that's just a human bias that we need to kind of really look at, because everybody deserves a chance, but it's very hard to break in. If you're never given an opportunity to break in and prove yourself, then you can keep putting your head against the wall and never gonna get any. So when you guys look at these things in the future, the opportunities to bring in new firms, some of them may turn out to be bad choices, but at least you'll know and you're giving people an opportunity.
Understood. And I mentioned this at the very beginning. I was very proud of the effort here. I think it shows that we have new firms responding to our RFPs, and there is a great deal of outreach that goes into that. As you mentioned, some firms are very familiar with us and they'll regularly respond. Getting new firms is always a challenge, but this effort shows that it is working, and we're going to continue to do that. And you'll see that we'll continue to work with new firms moving forward.
Thank you. All right, with that, we'll move this one forward also. So that brings us to the information calendar. And Mr. General Manager, we'd like to introduce that, and you have 20 minutes.
I think we'll be able to move through this with some
Mr. Chair,
efficiency. Yes.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Great, go ahead.
Thank you. I have another meeting, so I'm gonna have to get off. You don't need me for anything at this point, because on the information, correct?
Right, you can read it all. It's great nighttime reading.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a
All
lot,
right.
Director, but have a good meeting. But
Okay.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
My apologies for my quick response. Yes, for this presentation, as always, we do have a team here to present. It's led by Uzi Daniel, our Manager of Operations, Mitchell Miralay, Water Quality and Environmental Compliance Analyst, and we also have Frank Peeps, our Operations Supervisor. And as mentioned, this begins on page 36.
Thank you, Jake. Good afternoon, directors. I heard I had 20 minutes. For those that know me, I can fill that up quite easily, but I'll try to make it brief. We have our regular information update today, and some of the highlights include a lot of the good work. We have a really great program. I'm not sure. We go around and we do inspections at all our recycled water user sites as required in our permit. So Frank's team's been working hard to do that. The salt nutrient management plan effort, WRD went out to bid. That's underway. We're going to get that together. So there's been a lot of nice coordination and synergy happening within the basins right now. One of those is going to happen here on June 9th. Water Reuse will be hosting their luncheon, LA luncheon here, where for the first time Reuse is going to talk about recycled water distribution relevant to Purple Pipe in addition to the pure water efforts. So that should be exciting. We'll see in the presentation, there's been a few things that a lot of movement. We're learning, there's a lot of movement still in our industry between some of our cities, retirements, potable water agencies, including the city of Hawthorne that is sunsetting its agreement with Cal Water and taking on its own agreement with another company and the city involved. And Frank has more information on that later if we need it in the presentation. As we move to page 38 to start on the presentation, I do want to mention that the compliance team has been working without a supervisor, doing a fantastic job, both Jamie Burkhart and Mitchell Merle. And we do welcome any of our junior staff who wants an opportunity and wants to come in front of the board, knows they'll be real nice to them. We welcome them. So you're going to get to hear from Mitch today too, to update us on some of the water quality efforts in the absence of the supervisor. So with that, if we could continue to the presentation, thank you. There's our agenda. You'll see in here, if you could go to the next page, please. Continue. These are just the overall, every quarter you see these, the upcoming action items and information items that you will see next month currently at this time. And if we could move to the next one, please. Thank you. And Mitchell, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Uzi. Good afternoon, directors. So today I will be discussing and comparing water quality data between Hyperion's outfall effluent versus ECL's influent. And so this first slide here is for total suspended solids, or TSS, with a monthly average. The date is ranging from March of 2025 to March of 2026. This slide and a couple of the slides after, we're going to have ECL represented as the blue line and Hyperion represented as the orange line. And then we also have a gray line up there for Hyperion's monthly limit, which represents their MPDS permit. So as you can see throughout the year, total suspended solids has been below that 30 milligram per liter limit. I also just want to note that the source of this data for Hyperion is coming from their Hyperion Recovery website, which is publicly available data. And for ECL, that data is from our in-house water quality lab as well. Next slide, please. So the next slide is representative of turbidity on a weekly average. As you can see, all of the turbidity results are below 100 NTU for the entire year. I just also want to note too that the sampling and the results for turbidity at ECL come from a continuous meter. So the results are continuously being read. And as for Hyperion, the results are coming from weekly grab samples and a 24-hour composite sample. Next slide, please. And then the last parameter that we'll look at is ammonia. This is a monthly average. As you can see, the ammonia results are all below the 58 milligram per liter limit. We have data from March of 2025 through March of 2026 for ECL. But as you can see, we don't have all of the data from ammonia for Hyperion, and that's because the data for ammonia is not coming from their website, it's coming from CWIX. So they upload a self-monitoring report, and CWIX is usually about a quarter or two behind with their data. Next slide, please. And this last slide is just to show for our reporting period between March and May of 2026. This time period for the compliance team is a very, very busy reporting time. We have a lot of overlapping deadlines, and so we have to submit annual reports with quarterly reports, volumetric reports. We have hazardous waste reports as well, and we've met all of those compliance deadlines. And that will be it for me, and I will pass it over to Uzi.
Thank you. Nice job. Thank you. Next slide, please. Oil and grease. We had an exceedance of oil and grease out of our brine, out of ECL. Those, when we have those exceedances, they're almost instantaneous. The way the CWIX website works, it alerts you right away. And that's why when we first, this is from September of 2024, we make sure to list the exceedances often on these presentations. We track them in-house. We do investigations. It just takes a year or two, sometimes 3 or 4, until the regulators catch up. What they do offer now, you'll see here, it's called a subtle violation. Some people agencies will want to dispute or see if they can get a reduction. But we self-disclose this. We knew it happened, and so you can do a settlement waiver that allows you to speed through the process, not have the same type of public hearing. And so we intend to issue a payment for that and sign it before the deadline of June 1st. We'll tell you what the oil and grease can be. Sometimes we've had an exceedance in the past, and it can be a little finicky to any kind of maintenance or oil and grease solvents that may occur. Our investigation revealed that we had quite a sample that had a lot of color in it. That was not noticed when we shipped it out. When the lab notified us, there's a 28-day holding period. So sometimes the laboratories will notify us close to holding time. They have a big workload to manage. So there was a bit of a back and forth on where that did occur. So one of the things that we changed in our lab, as far as when we send out samples, is we now take photos of samples going out to make sure to demonstrate, and the staff knows and is trained, if they see anything that looks unusual in color or odor, that they are to notify their operations, their production team, their CPO before sending any samples. And this taking a photo will also allow us, if we need to challenge a lab, because sometimes it can be a lab error, to be able to demonstrate that what they received is not what they are sending us back. And with that, if we want to proceed to the next, unless there's any questions, the next slide. And we'll turn it over to Frank for now.
Thank you, Uzi. Good afternoon, directors. So this is our monthly recycled water distribution system activities update, where we provide an update on some of the maintenance activities for air valve maintenance, blow off maintenance, as well as valve exercising. This table doesn't include the totals through this month, and Infomark has been making a strong push to complete the maintenance for these items by the end of June. So for example, taking into account the numbers for this month, they've accomplished almost 90% of the valve exercising so far. and almost 70% of the air vacuum valve maintenance. For the leaks repaired, the total there is 7. We actually had a leak repair this week in Carson at our Dominguez Booster Pump Station. Infomart worked with their contractor to complete a repair for an 8-inch supply line pump station. That work was completed without any issues. Next slide, please. And this is an update on the cathodic protection system survey. The board approved an agreement last year with Far West Corrosion Control Company to survey over 45 miles of our metallic pipelines. Far West tested a total of 371 test stations, and overall that they found that the system is generally protected, which is good news. However, they found that 9 out of the 28 piping systems that they evaluated did show some localized issues where they recommended annual monitoring. We do have a final meeting with Far West to discuss this additional monitoring that they're recommending. And once we finalize that monitoring plan, we'll come back to the board and present that as well. Next slide, please. Okay. Go to the next one. And again, this is our recurring update for potable water customer service. There's no change for the WB23A project. I did want to highlight the second row. Metropolitan Water District is planning a 10-day shutdown in November of this year on the West Basin feeder to conduct some maintenance. And that's going to affect those 9 services for Cal Water, El Segundo, and the city of Manhattan Beach. And so we are working with Metropolitan Water District to schedule meetings with these purveyors to plan for that upcoming shutdown. Next slide, please. This is our our potable water sales update through April. The total sales for April was 6,993 acre feet compared to the April budget of 5,744 acre feet. So the total sales for the month were almost 22% higher than the monthly budget. And for the year, the total sales are also higher than the annual budget by almost 10%. Next slide. Lucy will
Sure.
present this one.
I'll take us out, walk us out. Wanted to give you an update. The ops department also takes care of the building and facilities, landscaping. Wanted to bring this up because I think ECL is has a lot of public participation. It's a good place for us to get feedback. And we were going to update on some of the improvements we've done to the landscaping. We did get a new vendor, as the directors appreciate when we have someone that hasn't previously had the business or maybe not had it in some time. And that always takes a little bit of a transition period. They just have to get to know all our facilities. And so after all the heavy rains and then the heat that just bloomed everything, we had to have some meetings with them, get them caught up. They've been doing a great job. We're going out now and doing weekly inspections. So we should be back on track with them, but we wanted to provide that highlight. One of the good work Nelson ends up doing and coordinating even with the Jacobs team, but also we welcome if people ever see anything, they're out and about on a tour, please do let us know. We can follow up and make sure that everything's getting done. But I think we're absolutely back on track now, making sure everything looks nice for all of our public tours. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions. Your time.
Any questions? I don't have any questions. I do want to go back to slide 44. So on these are upcoming items. When we're talking about the tanks at JMM, remind me what that one's about.
That's the sodium hypochlorite tank that we're replacing at JMM.
Is this part of the whole tank replacement program or a separate item? Because I thought we were doing an evaluation of all the tanks.
So we The condition assessment that you've been hearing about was done relating to Torrance facility as well as ECL. This sodium hypochlorite tank project was done, the condition assessment was done previously, and it was recommended to be replaced at that time. So the construction design was completed, and we are about to send out for bids and coming back to the board for
So this was a standalone assessment, not part of the comprehensive. Why did we do a standalone assessment? So there's a reason.
So, yeah, I can jump in into that. So this is the one tank that had a leak and we have been renting the tank. So for a minute, we were trying to basically identify what could happen, whether we could buy the tank from the vendor. The vendor said that basically they can't do that because of liability issues. The tank has been somewhere else before West Basin, so this is the tank that we're replacing.
And Mr. Chairman, it's important to note that this also would be paid for under the current refinery agreement.
All right, so on the Inglewood Transit connector, where is the Inglewood Transit connector? What's it gonna run from and to?
Where is it?
Yeah.
Well, this project, I'm sorry, but the transit connector actually transformed. I don't know if you recall, this was a large kind of people mover, similar to the one being built at LAX, but that current form died. So this now is more of it still has the same name, but it's almost like a building of a mobility hub. And then I forget, I want to say down.
So where's he
It's gonna go like trying to go from the 405 to send people down to like SoFi and the Intuit Dome for the Olympics. So what they're doing,
Project that Inglewood's taking on?
yeah. So what they're doing there is they're gonna build some new recycled water, like service lines and things like that.
I'm interested in, so they're gonna build from scratch in 2 years, a people mover?
No, not anymore. That version of the project is done for. Yeah, this is something else now. What they're doing now is street improvements to like increase like mobility in terms of like bus lanes and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So that it's almost like it's just
So it's like a street widening, intersection widening, that type of thing?
yes.
Still a lot.
The original version, which was very expensive, is no longer being done anymore.
I mean, it's good to
So
know
as
that
part of that, they're doing beautification and they're gonna extend the
Yeah.
recycle.
We're working with like Frank, developer agreement with the city and their consultants.
The city will pay for the lot.
there is an existing agreement, but because the scope of work is so significantly different, so we have to go back, come back
Yeah,
to
we
the
spoke to
board.
legal and the scope has been just changed, so they recommend coming back with a new developer agreement.
Then we're gonna hear about our DCS project, which is Progressive Design Build. Okay. All right, those are my only questions. With that, I think we're
Mr. Chairman, if I could add one.
hey,
Early in this presentation, we did have our sales on our potable system. And it's not included in here, but yesterday at Finance and Administrative Committee, we had an opportunity to kind of highlight where we were with recycled water and recycled water sales. And I was very pleased to report back to the committee and ultimately the board that we're seeing a significant increase in the total amount of recycled water that we're serving. If you look at packet page 60 in the packet, you can see one of the reasons why is because we've really done a great job of maintaining our deliveries to the barrier. This has been an ongoing effort to really make sure that we are reliable to the barrier. And as part of our ongoing discussions with LA County Public Works, as well as the Water Replenishment District about maintaining 100% recycled water to the barrier when we're able to produce it and deliver it. And I had an opportunity to discuss this with all of the parties at the LA County Water Summit this past Monday, and I feel very confident that we're going to get there. And I think part of that is just our comfort with our ability to deliver. And so I love this slide. If you look at the finance packet, you can kind of see our deliveries on our recycled water and just the improvements that have been made there. And I know that this has been a tremendous, but also a collective effort on the parts of our engineering and operations teams, as well as our contract operator there at ECL. So I think we are definitely trending in the right direction. So I just wanted to highlight that as well.
Thank you very much. We eliminated the Grand Canyon now.
Yes.
So, and actually, thank you for updating us on discussions with the county. So the county's finally gonna go to 100% recycled water.
We're very hopeful. I think that if you look at the LA County Water Plan, I think it fits squarely in that discussion. I would say that and of course, it was led by Supervisor Horvath as well as Mark Estrella. They had an excellent event and really showcased the value of utilizing the LA County Water Plan for potential opportunities like this. And so I think that within their collective plan, it presents the opportunity to not only discuss it, but also come together and get it done.
So getting down into the weeds now, then, have you met with the little group that gets to make this decision, and are they there?
I believe we have, but I believe that there's some more work to be done, but I feel confident.
Maybe you can just Mark to tell them do it.
That would help.
That would help a lot. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that update. If there's nothing else, we will move on. There's no full session, so director's comments and future agenda items. Director Caveh, do you have any?
Yeah, just one brief, EJ, I just wanted to mention that, thank you for bringing up the inclusion, diversity, portion of the items. You know, I'd like to see that more, you know, and it's great that you guys are bringing that up. I'd like to see that more often, as we move forward with a lot of the, different departments and stuff. So, thank you.
Just a comment, staff seems to be on top of everything as usual. You're all doing a good job. Thank you.
And with that, I will say it was very good presentations today, and thank you for all your answers. And we are adjourned until June 17th, unless there's a change.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Steph.